Last time we took the calcium myth apart. We saw that swallowing more calcium does not by itself become more bone. That the pills so many people lean on are doing far less than they hope. And underneath all of it was one idea I want you to carry into today. Your bones are built by demand. They keep exactly as much strength as your body is being asked to use, and they quietly let go of the rest. So that leaves the most practical question of all. If demand is the signal, if load is the instruction your skeleton has been starving for, then what exactly do you do? What kind of movement actually sends that message? Because here is something that surprises almost everyone. Most of the exercise that older adults are told is good for them does very little for their bones. The walking, the swimming, the gentle stretching, wonderful for your heart, your joints, your mood. Nearly useless for your skeleton. Today, I'm going to show you the one type of exercise that genuinely builds bone after 60. And there is really only one. I'll give you 4 simple movements that deliver it, each with an easy way to start and a clear way to grow. And I'll show you how to do all of it safely, because doing this wrong is the one real risk, and avoiding that is easier than you think. Stay with me, because this is the part where you stop losing bone and start building it. Let's start by clearing away the most common piece of advice, because it quietly wastes a lot of good effort. When people are told to protect their bones, they're usually told to stay active. Walk every day, swim, ride a bike, and if you're doing those things, please don't stop. They're genuinely good for you. But I have to be honest with you about what they do and don't do, because believing they're building your bones when they aren't is its own kind of trap. Remember the rule from earlier in the series: a bone only strengthens in response to a load that is greater than what it's already used to. It has to be challenged. It has to feel a force it doesn't feel in ordinary daily life, and then it answers that challenge by laying down new bone, right where the force came through. Now look at walking through that lens. Walking is a beautiful thing for your heart and your balance. But to your thigh bone and your hip, walking is just ordinary life. It's the same gentle load those bones felt yesterday and the day before. There's no new challenge in it, so there's no signal to build. Swimming and cycling are even gentler on the skeleton, because the water or the bike carries your weight for you. Your bones barely feel gravity at all. That's exactly why they're kind to sore joints. But kindness isn't the signal. Your bones don't grow stronger because you were gentle with them. They grow stronger because you asked something of them. So if the gentle, comfortable movement isn't enough, what is? The answer is a specific kind of effort. 2 ingredients, really. And once you understand them, every one of the movements I'm about to show you will make complete sense. Here are the 2 ingredients your bones are listening for. The first is resistance. The second is impact. Let me take them one at a time, because together they are the whole recipe. Resistance means making a muscle work hard against a real force. Lifting, pushing, pulling, or holding something heavy enough that it isn't easy. Here's why that reaches the bone. Your muscles are anchored to your bones by tendons. When a muscle contracts hard, it doesn't just move you, it yanks on the bone it's attached to, and that pull bends the bone a tiny, invisible amount. Your bones feel that bend, and they read it as a message. We are being worked. Build us up so we can handle this. The harder the muscle pulls, the louder the message. This is why the strongest muscles in the body tend to sit on the densest bones. They built each other. The second ingredient is impact. Your body weight working briefly against gravity, like the gentle jolt of your heel meeting the ground. That jolt sends a pressure wave straight through the bone, and bone responds beautifully to that kind of brief, sharp signal. You don't need much of it, and you certainly don't need anything jarring. But a little good impact does something that smooth, slow movement simply can't. Now, the part that ties it together, and the reason ordinary activity falls short. A bone only builds in response to a load above the level it's already used to. Researchers call this a threshold. Stay below it, and nothing changes. Cross it, even briefly, and the building crew gets to work. This is the single most important practical idea in this video. The load has to be meaningfully harder than your daily life. Not dangerous, harder. There's a world of difference, and the rest of this video lives in that difference. This isn't a fringe theory either. It's one of the oldest laws in human biology. Bone adapts to the load placed on it, and the modern research backs it up clearly. Carefully run studies of older adults, even women well past menopause, have shown that the right kind of resistance and impact training can hold bone steady, and in some cases add it back, at an age when everyone assumed only loss was possible. The crew is still in there. We just have to give it orders it can hear. Here are 4 ways to do exactly that. The first movement is the foundation, and you already do a version of it every single day, getting up out of a chair. We're going to turn that ordinary motion into a bone-building one, because it loads the exact places that matter most: your hips, your thighs, and the base of your spine. Here's why it works in one sentence. Standing up drives the big muscles of your hips and legs to pull hard on the largest bones in your body. And those are precisely the bones that break and change a life when they fail. Here's how to do it. Sit tall toward the front of a sturdy chair, feet flat and about hip width apart. Lean forward slightly so your nose comes over your toes, press down through your heels, and stand all the way up to full height. Then lower yourself back down slowly, taking 3 or 4 seconds on the way down, because that slow lowering is where a great deal of the bone building happens. That's 1. Aim for a set of 8 to 10, rest, and repeat for 2 or 3 sets. And here's how to grow it over time. This is the part that matters, because a movement that never gets harder eventually stops building. Level 1. Simply stand up and sit down without using your hands. If you need your hands at first, that's perfectly fine. Use them and work toward letting go. Level 2. Once 10 is easy, hold something with weight against your chest as you rise. A few heavy books, a jug of water, a loaded bag. The weight is the whole point. It has to be enough that the last 2 or 3 feel genuinely hard. Level 3. Hold more weight and lower yourself a little deeper and a little slower. When 10 reps stop feeling like work, add weight again. You're chasing that threshold. Always a little more than your bones are used to. The second movement might be the most natural one of all, and it's almost disappeared from modern life. Carrying something heavy. For most of human history, people hauled water, wood, and food every day, and their skeletons were strong because of it. Today, we wheel a cart to the car and lift almost nothing. But carrying a real load is one of the finest signals you can send your bones, because it loads your whole body at once. Your hands and wrists, your forearms, your spine, and your hips all bear the weight together, and your spine in particular learns to hold itself tall and strong under it. Here is how to do it. Pick up something genuinely heavy in each hand. 2 loaded shopping bags, 2 water jugs, a pair of dumbbells if you have them. Stand up tall, shoulders back, and simply walk in a straight line for 20 or 30 steps. Keep your chest lifted and your core gently braced, as if you were about to be poked in the stomach. Set the weights down, rest, and go again 3 or 4 times. Growing it is wonderfully simple. Level 1. Carry a moderate weight a short distance with her, even across the room and back. Get comfortable holding yourself tall under a load. Level 2. Make the weight heavier. It should feel like genuine effort by the end of the walk, your grip and your back clearly working. Level 3. Heavier still and a little farther. You can also carry the weight in just one hand at a time, which forces the muscles along one side of your spine to brace hard to keep you upright. An excellent challenge. Switch sides each trip. As always, when it stops feeling hard, add a little more. The third movement adds that second ingredient, brief controlled impact, and it takes less than a minute a day. This one speaks directly to your hips and spine in a language nothing else quite matches. Here's the why. A small jolt up through your heels sends a pressure wave through the long bones of your legs and into your hips, and bone responds to that sharp little signal by reinforcing itself. Remember, you need very little of this, and we always start gentle. Here is the simplest version, and for many people, it's enough. Stand tall next to a counter or a sturdy chair with a hand resting on it for balance. Rise up onto the balls of your feet as high as you comfortably can. Then let your heels drop down to the floor with a firm, controlled tap, enough that you feel a gentle thud, not a painful one. That's one heel drop. Do 10 of them, rest, and do another set or two to grow it. Level 1, the heel drops I just described, both feet holding your support. Gentle and controlled, feeling a light jolt, never pain. Level 2, once those feel easy and comfortable, add a few light stomps, marching firmly in place so each foot meets the floor with a bit more force. Level 3, if your joints are healthy and your doctor agrees, progress to a few small, soft jumps, just an inch or two off the floor, landing softly through bent knees. A handful is plenty. I want to be very clear, this top level is not for everyone, and it is the one place we are most careful, which brings us to the rule I'll give you at the end. If small jumps aren't right for you, firm heel drops alone still do real good. Never feel you have to chase the hardest version. The fourth movement protects the part of you that bone loss treats most cruelly, your spine and the posture that holds you upright. So many of the breaks that change a life happen in the bones of the back, and the muscles that guard them are the ones along your upper back and shoulders. We're going to make those muscles pull, so they in turn pull on the bones and strengthen them. The easiest tool for this at home is a resistance band, an inexpensive elastic band you can anchor to a door or simply hold. It's gentle on the joints but gives your muscles plenty to work against. There are two parts. The first is a pull, often called a row. Anchor the band at about chest height, hold an end in each hand, and draw your elbows straight back, squeezing your shoulder blades together as if pinching a pencil between them. That motion fires the muscles all along your upper back, the very guardians of your spine. The second is a press. Hold the band and push your hands up overhead until your arms are straight, which loads your shoulders and upper arms to grow it. Level 1, a light band, 8 to 10 slow rows, and a few gentle overhead presses. Focus on standing tall and squeezing your shoulder blades, not on speed. Level 2, a thicker, stronger band, or shorten your grip so there's more tension. Make the last few reps genuinely hard. Level 3, a heavier band still, or small hand weights for the overhead press. The same rule carries all the way through every one of these movements. When it stops being hard, it has stopped building, so add a little more. Before you do any of this, I want to give you the single rule that keeps it safe, because there's one mistake that matters far more than the rest. And once you know it, you can train with real confidence. Here it is. When you load your spine, keep your back tall and straight. Never round it forward under weight. The danger movement for a fragile spine is bending forward and rounding your back while lifting or carrying something heavy, especially combined with a twist. That rounded and loaded position puts force on the front of the spinal bones in exactly the way that can cause one of the small fractures we talked about earlier. So the rule is simple. Hinge from your hips, keep your chest up and your back flat, and let your strong legs do the lifting. Tall and braced, never rounded and loaded. A few more quiet safeguards. Start lighter than you think you need to and add weight slowly. There's no prize for rushing, and your bones respond to months of consistency, not to one heroic day. Breathe out as you exert. Never hold your breath and strain. And if you have already been told you have significant bone thinning, osteoporosis, or you have a heart condition, or you've recently had surgery, please talk with your doctor before you begin, and ask specifically about the impact movement and any deep bending. For some people with fragile spines, the small jumps come off the menu entirely, and that is perfectly fine. The resistance work alone is powerful medicine. Do it this way. Tall, controlled, a little heavier over time most days of the week, and you're doing the one thing proven to build bone at any age. Not instead of eating well, but alongside it. Which brings us to the other half of this. So that's the signal, and now you know exactly how to send it. 4 simple movements. Stand up loaded, carry something heavy, add a little good impact, and pull and press, done safely, and made a little harder over time. That is the one type of exercise that builds bone after 60. Everything else is a bonus, but there's a catch, and it's the next piece of this story. You can send your bones the perfect signal day after day and still come up short if the raw materials aren't there. You cannot build a wall without bricks, and you cannot build bone on an empty plate. Next time, I'll show you the foods quietly weakening your bones without your knowing, and the handful that genuinely help rebuild them. It may change what ends up on your plate tonight. Subscribe, and I'll see you there.